Hello, freak bitches.
So I'm fascinated by your general program, like what you're doing all day with all this stuff. Like what's the current Joe program?
Well, I'm always doing something, and in terms of like diet, you mean, or in terms of like
What's the
exercise?
workout? What's the diet? What's the meditation? What's the main tenets of your day?
Well, my workout I schedule every Sunday. I schedule everything that I'm going to do during the week. I say I have to do yoga 2 times this week. I have to lift weights 3 times this week. I have to run twice this week. And however I fit that in, I fit that in. But I owe those things.
Okay.
So I have to get those things in. The only exceptions are injuries and sickness. So that's the schedule. And then on top of that, there's other things that I enjoy doing: kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. Work those in when I can. Then diet. The diet is pretty strict in terms of like no bread, very few carbs, no sugar, no bullshit. Like healthy food, a lot of vegetables, a lot of meat, game meat mostly, wild game. And I take vitamin supplements every day. I take multivitamins, I take probiotics, I take vitamin B12 and D and a lot of different things. I just I do everything that I can to put my body and my brain in a good place, so that I'm keeping my engine smooth. I'm changing my oil. I'm changing my spark plugs. I'm making sure that it's operating. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but I know that I've done my best to keep it working the best that it can.
And who's the person that advises you on like nutrition? Is there a guy? Is there a woman? Who taught you how to do it? How do you do it?
Well, there's a ton of people that I've used as a resource. There's a woman that I have on the podcast on a regular basis. Her name is Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and she's probably the best resource. Like, I sent her something the other day on some new study on saturated fats. Like, whenever there's some sort of an issue, there's a new study on cryotherapy or saunas. Like, the saunas are incredibly effective. I don't know if you ever
we
have
just
a sauna.
got one.
Oh, so
Like
huge.
with the UV rays, or what is it?
What is it called? Not ultraviolet. Infrared. Thank you.
Yes. We just got one of those.
Saunas are giant. The raising of the body temperature like that, and the heat shock proteins, incredibly beneficial to your body. There was a study that they put out recently that showed a 40% decrease in mortality from all causes due to people who take regular sauna. Like, it just literally keeps your body healthier.
Yep.
Like,
Wow.
Having that massive exposure to heat and your body producing these heat shock proteins, it reduces inflammation. It helps in so many different areas for people. And it's just, sit down in the hot room. It's really good for your body.
Regular is how many times a week?
For sauna, I think they were saying 4 times a week.
Wow.
But I mean, how hard is that, man? Just force yourself to sit in it. I mean, if you have it at home in particular, or if at your gym, just go there and sit in that fucker for 15 minutes. It doesn't take long.
Well, I'm going to have to get all this written out. How about this? I do everything you do. We make that a special. It's the Judd Does Joe's Programs.
You have to build up.
Yeah.
You have to
I got to bulk up. I may have already bulked up.
I mean, build up like your joints and all that stuff. It's got to get used to that kind of a pounding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit is going to be happening if you want to do everything I do.
So I can't just do 12 pounds on a free weight.
You don't want I mean, it's not even you're not going to want to do everything I do.
Yes.
Like, I have a friend who runs ultra marathons, and I just started running recently within the last couple of months. I'm not running a fucking ultra marathon. I'm not doing everything. Hey, I'll do everything you do. It would break my feet. It would break my knees.
Yeah.
You got to just build up.
You got to have time, too.
Yes.
There's something about, when you run TV shows, it's all freaking day, every day. So people say, when do you work out? I'm like, there's no time.
Yeah.
What am I going to wake up at 5 in the morning and put in 2.5 hours? I got to drive my kids to school at 7:40.
That's one thing. You don't need 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You could get a great workout in 40 minutes, and that's all you need for the whole day. 100%. Yes. You really can, especially if you run. Like, I run hills, and I can get it done in a half an hour. Like a fucking brutal workout, a 2-mile brutal hill climbing workout in a half hour. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
This idea of time. Like, how much time did you put in today? Like, you could work out in a bullshit manner for 2 hours and not get nearly as much done as you can for a half hour hard just running.
Yeah. Or like interval training.
Yeah. Sprints and then relax, then sprints again. But I just think being active and doing something on a daily basis, forcing your body to get used to the fact that it's going to constantly be working, constantly being under stress.
Yes.
And then it gives you more energy. It's like you have more of a gas tank. You have more enthusiasm for things.
That's the scary part about Trump. His theory on exercise is you only have so much energy per day, and he thinks that exercise uses it up.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't ever exercise.
Yeah.
That's
Well, he
got to come
doesn't-
back at him at some point.
Well, he's fucking 70. I mean,
Yeah.
how is it not come back at him already? But he also, I mean, he's not mitigating his stress. That's part of it is your perspective enhancing. For me, the most important thing about, I don't think, maybe not the most important thing, but one of the best things about exercise is that it gives me a perspective, a more enhanced perspective, because I'm not coming at it from a stressful body. Like my body's not tense. So I can come at things in a calm way. I've drained all the bullshit out of my
That's
body.
interesting. Yeah. And are you doing meditation, or what are you doing in that way?
I have a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah.
So I do most of my meditation in that.
You do an
where I
altered
climb
states.
in, yeah. I climb in and I float.
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things. You ever do it?
No, I can
You must.
imagine.
You must. Especially for you, because you're working on things all the time. Like
Yeah.
if you go in there with an idea, like I'll go in there with a bit. Like I got this bit that I'm working on right now that's kind of complicated, and sometimes I'll just be sitting there staring at the wall, just thinking about this one bit because I'm trying to figure out how to structure it. It's a super complicated bit. And I'll go in that tank and I'll just sit there for an hour and I'll just try to work out this bit, try to figure out if there are other angles to it, there's other ways to come at it. The only confusing thing is when I have an idea in the tank and it seems like I got to get out of the tank, and then I got to write things down. And
No, you need a special pad in the tank.
I think I need a voice activated recorder.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's what I need, where I can just talk. Yeah.
Okay, so I need the tank.
You need a tank.
I have the spa.
You have a spa.
I need a hill to run on.
Hills are good.
I need more of my On It products.
Do you lift weights at all?
No. I
Good
mean,
idea to do a little bit of something just to keep your body strong. It's like as you get older, your body atrophies, and there's just no way around it, especially if you're not using it. And the only way to keep it from atrophying is to make sure that you put it under stress. You have to lift weights. That's the only way. It keeps your bone density, keeps your tendon strength, your muscle strength. There's no other way. And otherwise you just get injuries. People get back injuries and arm injuries, and shit just starts falling apart on you.
See, I've had no injuries due to not doing anything. That's how I've been protecting my body. But yes, I do know that that's the thing to do. I remember I always heard about Clint Eastwood doing that. And I met Clint Eastwood when he was like 80. And I know he lifts heavy weights. That's his thing. It's like heavy weights. And he was like a truck at 80.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't like lifting things. I don't even like counting. I don't even like counting.
Hire a trainer.
Yeah.
Get someone to devise a program.
Yeah.
Have them come to you, work you out. You don't have to do shit. You just show up. Like you could do it in your house. They show up at 6 a.m. or whenever it is, and they're like, come on, Judd, I got you for the next 45 minutes. And you're like, all right, here we go. And
It's tough when you hate that stuff. It really is tough. When you haven't like built your brain to love it. I've been playing a lot of tennis lately as a way to wake up. And but I do know that I need to do it. But man, when you're like of the mindset that when the trainer comes, you want to punch him in the face. It's a tough thing.